you ready? I'm Vin.
I'm Sori.
That's Booby.
And
Leah.
Leah. Leah's here with us.
Of the village.
Yes.
OG of the village.
Seriously.
Right.
Leah was literally the first person to actually interact with us. I don't know if you remember, Leah, but we shot this video one time about a fight that we had.
Yeah.
And it was a pretty cool video, actually.
It's still up there.
It's still up. If you can find it, you should go watch it because it's pretty fun.
I don't remember what it was called.
It was at the very beginning of the channel, and like we were just trying to figure out like what we were doing. We didn't really know what we were doing.
Yeah.
So we had this fight, and we're like, well, let's just put it up there. And Leah like interacted on it
with her intelligent self.
Well, she
sided with me.
She wrongly took Sori's side, but you know, you can't be perfect, right? Dead clock strike twice a day, as they say. But
it's unbelievable, Leah. This is the treatment we get.
But Leah, honestly, is like one of the OG villagers.
Yes.
And Leah also reacted to our debut single.
I was
Do you remember?
Yes, I do remember that. We've talked about this before. When we first started the channel, I was like, I heard so much about like the negative things about the males in the metal community, and so I was like so scared. And then when I saw Leah, I was like, yes, someone like me.
I have an ally.
I do.
Yeah. She keeps taking the wrong side on
From
it.
the very beginning. Loved you both from the very beginning. I remember like first time watching you, I wasn't even sure, like, I was like, are they friends?
Yeah.
Are they to get like
People were
a few episodes I finally figured it out, and I was like, oh my god, they're freaking awesome. Like never seen two people that are like more meant to be together.
Aww. Well, at least some things Leah's right about.
Thank you.
Leah's always right.
Okay, so this, dear listener, if you want to participate in one of these beautiful arrangements, email us, vinandsori@gmail.com. We'll fill you on how to make that happen. This song is by Thy Art Is Murder. Shout out to the big homie Andy Marsh. What's up, big homie? I'm actually I told Leah I was gonna send him this video because this is a fan made video, right? You made this, Leah?
Can't wait to see it.
Okay, so I'm very, very interested. The name of the video is called Make America Hate Again. And this is very interesting considering. But let's see. It's from the album Human Target. Let's go!
And go.
Let's make America
Yikes.
Yikes.
You did a good job on that video.
You did a good job on that video, Leah. You monster. God, okay, so this is what Andy said. Whilst we collectively identify as a left-leaning band, this song was not written to attack those who sit on the right side of the political sphere, but as a commentary on the tactics employed by both campaigns in the most recent U.S. presidential election. These crusades of social warfare would surely succeed in one result regardless of the victor, making people hate one another. The bloodlust of the political spectator, armed with Fox, CNN, and an iPhone, was satiated with aggressive slander-filled debate and fake radicalized propaganda masquerading as news. Where both sides of the field rallied to provoke identity politics spread like the wildfires of California, smoking out people of all creeds to be branded as red or blue.
Wow.
Those on the regressive left, remember he mentioned that in the off-camera stuff? May indeed have as much to answer for as their far-right opponents for creating and heaving divide in the space of public discourse and as sustaining sense of animosity among communities around America and abroad. Polarizing leaders like Trump are, in part, a result of who we have become. Disconnected. Woo! Andy talking truth! God almighty. How long, Leah, of The Village did it take for you to make that video?
Oh God. All told, it probably took 2 days.
Yeah.
2 days straight. When I first heard the song, I started getting the images in my head, and I was like, the first 4 or 5 clips, I had those completely planned out. I knew what I wanted. I knew I wanted it to start with that Snoop Dogg video. And then I think it's a total of 47 clips total that I used. And
That's a big job. That is a big job.
How long did it take to upload?
maybe, I don't know, about an hour.
I wish we had internet like you, Leah.
What? That's worse.
What do you mean, an
It's
hour?
a 3-minute video and it took an hour to go up.
Yeah, but it's got all those other clips.
That doesn't matter.
It's got a bunch of clips.
No, that doesn't matter. It's just video and audio. It's the same
It
thing.
was an hour max.
An hour for a 3-minute video is a long time.
You're saying that the extra clips don't add to the size of the file?
No, because it's still the same
That's not true.
length of the video.
That's not true. It adds to the size of the file. I can show you when we get offline.
Okay.
Welcome to our world.
Yeah.
Where we
Another fight.
Where we disagree on shit we don't need to disagree about. Okay, so damn good job on that song.
Thank you.
Yes.
Well, you didn't do a damn thing about the song. The video. Well, I kind of talked about this in 2 or 3 Middle America videos ago when I was talking about, when Kellyanne Conway had said, look, guys, we got to piece it up. We can't keep yelling at each other, da-da-da-da. And then Reza Aslan gets on there and says, you're the evil we need to eradicate.
Right.
And it's like, hello? You're talking about killing this woman. What the fuck is wrong with you? You're going to get these people killed.
I know.
And it makes me so angry because, to his point, your leaders are now your enemies. Like, Reza Aslan is famous. He's got a blue check and he can afford security, to walk around if somebody gives him a death threat. But people like me and you, we got to go out in the world, man.
Yep.
And it's like, it's crazy to me. Like, these leaders, these thought leaders or political leaders are fomenting all this, crazy discord. Tim Pool said that we're in the middle of a Cold War right now. We're in a cold civil war. And it's, I don't really know if you can even say we're in a Cold War because people are getting shot up. People are getting shot. People are getting killed. People are getting hospitalized. It's become really crazy.
Yep.
So what was that your mindset when you were trying to put all this together? Tell me the story of the video, front to back. What were you trying to do?
The story of the video, I wanted it to be from election night to current. Some of the more notable, memorable highlights / lowlights of the Democratic Party, I guess. Because I remember when Trump first got elected, there was all this stuff happening, the stuff coming out with, Kathy Griffin and the beheaded Trump. And the second clip was from a play, a version of Julius Caesar that some company did that featured, a one of the characters resembling Trump getting stabbed repeatedly by all these other people. So I kind of wanted to show all of those that I could remember because there was a lot of things during that time period that stood out to me that I don't think you would get away with any other president. You know, I had some Republican come out when Obama got elected with a beheaded Obama picture like that. I don't think,
or even not even beheaded, just a noose, no head in the noose, just
even
a noose
like that,
and anything associated with Obama that would have been the end of it.
Yeah.
Right.
Leo, was that clip at the beginning where I don't know if it was Trump or if it was somebody that looked like Trump, they like were ripping off his coat and stuff? Like, was that something that actually happened, or was that the play?
That's the play. That's the play.
Oh, okay. All right.
So the famous scene Et tu, Brute, where Caesar's getting betrayed and he gets stabbed up, and then his friend Brutus stabs him, and then Caesar's got that famous line in Shakespeare's play Et tu, Brute. Like that scene had instead of Caesar they had Trump. Which is basically saying it's a form of treason, to be honest with you. I mean, of course you've got your free speech you're right there on that line, and I'm a big free speech guy, but it's to the point now where people are, I've talked about this, like overtly inciting violence.
Yeah.
And it's unbelievable. From Reza Aslan, who explicitly is inciting violence, not only against Kellyanne Conway, but it could be argued that he was doing that to, you got these crazy people with Unite the Right, with the Jews will not replace us bullshit, like it's really, really crazy. And your leaders are supposed to say, all right, guys, like, all right, this is too far, Now I got a question for you though, Leah.
Absolutely.
So in this last go around 2 weeks ago, we had a pretty terrible, pretty bloody weekend with mass shooters on the left and the right side. Did you see that somebody got mad at us because we reported the political leanings of the Dayton shooter? He got mad at us because we exposed that.
I heard something about that. Yeah.
Yeah, the guy was an obvious leftist. He called himself a leftist, and then people were saying you shouldn't have brought that up. I'm like, no. But anyway, Trump came out and explicitly said we need to get rid of, white supremacy is terrible, blah, blah, blah. And my question was, why couldn't he have said that after the Unite the Right protest? Why did it take, 50 dead bodies between the synagogue shooter and the El Paso guy to finally say white supremacy is horrible and it needs to stop? What's your take on that? Do you feel that's a valid criticism or what?
I feel like every time he's tried to denounce white supremacy, it hasn't been. It's always deemed not enough. Like if he doesn't put it in a super harsh verbiage, people say, well, he didn't denounce them enough, or he didn't say it strong enough, or soon enough, or whatever. It doesn't matter. I feel like sometimes no matter what he does, the guy's not good. So he's never going to be able to do it right for some people.
Do you really believe that he had been denouncing white supremacy prior to the statement 2 weeks ago?
Well, he said so, yeah.
When?
I heard him say it.
Didn't he say in Unite the Right that there are good people on both sides?
Yes. And then he came out the following day and made a harsher stance, took a harder stance on it. Which is probably what he should have done in the first place. But, he's talked about how people have tried to associate him with David Duke and blah, 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 and how he's repeatedly disavowed David Duke, and they report that, they're buddies anyway or whatever. It's
right.
Just...
Yeah, I think that's bullshit. You can't control who retweets you on Twitter.
Yeah.
I think that's stupid.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care if a bunch of, white nationalists retweet him on Twitter. We've talked about the fact that his daughter is converted to Judaism,
right?
And no real, and we've even played the clip from we'll probably play it again in this video so people can see. But white supremacists hate him for that. So he's not like a crypto white nationalist ethno statist. That's ridiculous. But I do think that All right, I'm going to say something about Trump, and you tell me what you think. I think that Trump knows that white nationalists are partial to him. And so he wasn't going to completely do an explicit disavowal of them, because even though he disagrees with the extremes to which they take it, he still wants their vote. What's your take on that?
I think there could be a kernel of truth to that. That's possible, at least. I mean, I'm not saying he wants their support, but obviously when you're a politician, you want the vote, sure. But I don't know if that would make him want to kind of tread lightly to not piss them off, you know what I mean? Like, I think if Trump was going to say, God damn it, I hate white supremacists, he would come out and say it, regardless of who he offended or not. So, I don't know. There might be a little bit of truth to that, but I don't think it's to a very large extent.
He says, peace talks are off the table. It's time for violent action. Push to the brink. Tell me what the fuck you think would happen. Suffered through holy wars.
That's where Nancy Pelosi came in to say peace talks are off the table.
Yeah. Yeah, he a lot of you might not know that, but he's quoting Nancy Pelosi here. It wasn't a far-right person that was saying peace talks are off the table. It was Nancy fucking Pelosi.
Why would she say that?
Well, they're using...
I didn't watch that part.
They're using this militaristic language that even, what was it, Eric Holder? You know what the Obamas were saying when they were leaving office? They said, when they go low, we go high.
Yep.
And the idea was, come on, let's get above this bullshit.
Yeah.
Then Eric Holder says, when they go low, we kick them.
Yeah, I remember that.
And it started to introduce this sort of no, fuck no, we're not going to negotiate with these people. They can't be negotiated with. And then it's then they start ratcheting up the language. Peace talks are off the table. What do you mean? Mm-hmm. And then there was, what's that lady's name? No, the black lady that was saying chase them out of restaurants and da-da-da.
Oh, Maxine Waters.
Maxine Waters was saying if you find them, chase them out of restaurants and embarrass them and da-da-da. And then there was a spat of people, Candace Owens, all these people getting chased out of Starbucks.
Oh, yes, that's right. I remember that, actually.
Right.
Yes.
And then the irony of the whole thing, actually, we shot a live stream on this. The irony of a bunch of white folks kicking a black woman out of a restaurant. It's okay, leftists, we have come full circle.
Oh my gosh.
Because it's they're so blinded by their that they missed the irony of the whole thing. If one of these right wingers was smart, they would have had a meme of a sit-in in the 60s where black people were getting shoved out of restaurants by Democrats, by the way, and then another clip of Candace Owens getting shoved out of restaurants by Democrats, by the way. If the right wing should have played that up like mad, but I have this debate all the time with BM Fan. I think right-wingers, when they're crazy, are much more efficient killers.
Yeah, I heard you say that before.
But that leftists are now, especially in the last 3 years, have now decided that they're going to get violent. And because of the social structure that we have, typically leftists are not, ex-military who grew up hunting. So, for example, that guy that's... Go ahead.
That's made clear by the video because I think pretty much everybody in this video that gets their ass kicked is a member of Antifa.
Yeah, I'm sure you did that on accident, showing the leftists getting their asses kicked. But yeah, so the leftists have now decided, all right, no more of this free speech stuff and no more negotiation. It's the irony, of course, of Antifa. And BM Fan's gonna hate me for this, but. They're calling themselves anti-fascist, but they are the fascists.
Yes, I agree.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And I've been telling Pelosi, she's not listening to me for some strange reason. But I've been telling Pelosi, she needs to distance herself from the squad. Whatever that is.
Yeah.
The squad. Squad! Nigga, squad! Nigga! Sup, man? squad. It's ridiculous.
You're right. Yeah,
It's ridiculous.
I totally agree.
Like she needs to. I've said it over and over again. Like you need to marginalize these people. Let them start their own political party, and you'll see there's like 18 people in that crew. Like, come on.
Right.
And like get back to some sanity. Like I don't understand how we went from a Barack Obama who, you know, you disagree with some of his policies, so do I. But you gotta say that Obama was not stoking all this bullshit. Obama was saying, we're gonna go high. We're not gonna respond to this stuff, and I'm just gonna keep going and keep bombing those brown people overseas, and you won't care. Vote for me. But but Obama had like a certain type of dignity about
he did, yeah.
But I think what happened, and now I'm blaming your guy Trump for this, Leah.
Okay.
Let me put this out there. Trump, during the Republican primaries, completely changed the political landscape of America. Because he started with low energy Jeb, and then he went to, what did he say? The man...
Was it Lying Hillary? What did she call
No,
it?
Lying Ted. Lying Ted.
Yeah.
Little Marco.
Little Marco, yeah.
Little Marco. And then he completely just took the conventional wisdom of how you're supposed to comport yourself with dignity and honor as a statesman of our country and crumpled it. And then what ended up happening, like you initially... Go ahead, Leah. Go ahead. Go fight with me. It's okay. Go ahead.
I mean... I don't know if I'd characterize it that way. Look, now I sound like freaking Robert Mueller.
Outside of my purview.
Seriously, I would classify some of that, not all of it, but some of it is like just wanting to fight back and show that you have the strength to be a leader. So
yeah, but when he's saying Little Marco,
some of it came from wanting to show strength.
Yeah,
but some of the stuff you could see like in grade school, like the name calling. It was like
Little Marco.
Well, yeah, I didn't say it was elevated strength.
Leah is gonna work. She's on Trump 2020.
I know.
She's a delegate.
Me and Kellyanne are like this.
No, I'm sure. You need to run security for her and see you run into raise Aslan. Good Lord. But okay, so we're agreeing that it was not an elevated form of a show of strength. It was kind of like what you see in the hood when, you got two rappers battling against each other. Look, what are those? Look at your shoes. Like, he turned it into a rap battle, and you could kind of see where the candidates, like Marco Rubio, for example, tried to get in the gutter with Trump, and then they started talking about their...
But after about his hands.
Right, little hands and whatever. And then, it was a complete embarrassment. But, like, I don't think the politicians knew what to do with Trump because he kept winning and everybody kept dropping off.
Yeah.
Trump dissed, Jeb Bush in Bush country. Like, he was in Florida, and then he won Florida. Like, it was amazing. So then what ended up happening was all the politicians kind of looked around and they said, well, shit, okay. And then they started lowering their standards as well. So the sort of like I am above it all type of attitude that Obama had, that a lot of people didn't, it actually turned a lot of people off because they're like, oh, he's acting like he's above us. I'm like, yes, he's the president. He should be above us. He should be smarter than us. He should be more composed and dignified. I don't want a regular, it's like Colin said, like if you have a doctor, right, Leah? And you're going through some major surgery, and the doctor strolls in, and he's awesome. He's half drunk, and his eyes are all glassy, and he's got a Metallica shirt on. Like, I don't want that guy operating on my wife, okay, or you. Leah, I promise you, if I saw a doctor roll in like that, and he said, "Hey, what's up, little Marco?" I'd be like, "Yeah, thank you very much. I'm getting my sister out of this fucking place because you're gonna kill my sister." I would roll you out. So, like, I want the doctor to be like, I want the doctor to be above it all, right? I want the doctor to be like, yeah, it's okay. Yeah, you've got a pole stuck in your neck because some Antifa bastard stabbed you in the neck. Don't worry about it. I'll take it out. You'll be out of here in 2 days. I'm like, okay, that guy. So, like, that was Obama.
Yes.
And then Trump is a drunk, leery guy with the Metallica
No,
show.
I get what you're saying. Okay, I'm not like Leah on the Trump thing as much. I'm not into Trump as much as you are. But I will say,
you're a Christian.
There goes Obama he's all like, dignified looking, but then he goes on the friggin' apology tour, just humiliating America all over the place. I'm not good with that. I like the way that Trump composes himself. He has the attitude that America is better than all, and you're not gonna do anything to America, and I like that.
First.
If it's your country, everybody should have some pride about their own nation. And I like the way that Trump, there's stuff that goes on, and I'm like, nope, Trump's not going to let that fly.
We should have had BM Finn on to balance out this bullshit. Listen.
What bullshit? Leah, help me.
No, what I'm saying... What I'm saying is, when the doctor comes in, I don't want a doctor that I can have a beer with. I want a doctor that's above it all, that drinks Chandon or whatever the hell.
A doctor that acts like a doctor, and the problem is the country was looking for a politician that didn't act like a politician.
Yeah, we're sick of that.
And then we had a politician that we can have a beer with in the Metallica shirt. That's great. But what he did was he lowered...
You got a president that tells you exactly what he freaking means, that tells you what he's going to do, and actually fucking does it. Doesn't sit there and promise you everything to the moon and back and then go, sorry, I'm in office now. Thanks for your votes.
But he
another 40 years.
Okay, what I'm saying is he lowered the standards.
But he did. I agree with you.
Of dignity of the office. And then what ended up happening was, because the leftists saw that that's what he did, the leftist leaders, instead of remaining elevated, lowered themselves and started using crazy rhetoric that then inflamed the destabilized elements of their constituency, which then resulted in this civil war that we have. So what I'm saying is, if we had a Ted Cruz in office, I don't think you see this stuff spilling out on the street, and I don't think you see Nancy Pelosi saying peace talks are on the table, and I don't think you see Eric Holder saying kick him. What I think happened, it's a copycat league. That's what they say in the NFL. So, Belichick figured out how to make, crossing patterns very, very effective and replace that running game with that. Most of you don't know what I'm talking about. But the facts are, he came up with a system that worked, so everybody copied it. So then Trump came up with a system that worked, which is, I'm going to be as nasty and horrible and lower the conversation and dare people to get down to my level. And the other politicians started saying, well, shit, it worked for him. Let's do it too. And now it's created this thing where there's no adults in the room anymore.
I would agree with that too. I agree with that.
Leah, honestly, let's just be real. I know that you're a Trump fan, but as far as dignity of the office between Obama and Trump, who projected a more presidential, dignified energy in the room?
Oh my God, really? Who presented a more dignified? All right, if you want to know who acts more presidential, it'd probably be Obama.
Probably?
I'm not going to give him full credit because isn't he the one that said no reasonable person would believe that you could even rig our elections?
That's true. He did say that. And then,
well, we're going to investigate him for 2 friggin' years for doing just that.
Okay, all right. Right. So there were times when Obama was full of shit. I'm just saying his affect.
His successor didn't win.
Right. The effect on the country.
Trump has said many, many, many times that he could be more presidential. He could act presidential, but people would find it boring.
He's right. I don't watch a lot of political stuff because it's usually boring to me, but Trump makes it so friggin' interesting that I watch it.
This is madness. He's talking like a reality TV star instead of the president of the United States. Leah,
I think Trump is himself. He's exactly what he portrays himself to be. And other people are trying to out Trump, and you're just not going to.
No, she's right.
Yes.
You cannot out Trump.
No.
The Republicans figured that out way too late, and now the Democrats, I fear, are going to figure that out. I don't think a guy like Bernie is ever going to get to Trump's level, sink to Trump's level.
No.
And I don't think Tulsi would either, but I think the DNC is too fucking stupid to get those people up there. Now, I know you, Leah, you believe that Trump would trounce Elizabeth Warren.
Absolutely.
I probably agree with you.
Any Democratic candidate right now that beats him.
Trump would hammer that Pocahontas thing and the you remember the ancestry thing where it came out that like I was more Native American than Elizabeth Warren. It was just it was horrible. I don't think I think he would constantly pound that, and I don't think she would recover. I really don't. But you think that Trump would beat Bernie?
Absolutely.
You think a Trump Pence ticket would beat a Bernie Warren ticket?
Yeah.
I think you're high. No, are you high? Tell the truth. I won't judge you.
I don't do that shit.
She's like, I'm a Republican. I don't smoke weed.
To the Cali people.
What's up, Zonia? Hi, Carmen. Hi, everyone. Shoved under the bus. I love this. We should do more with her. I'm done with pacifism. You can't debate with demons.
You can't debate with demons. Well, that was an obvious what to show there. Yeah, it's a Democratic debate lineup.
But you know, we've come to the point now where these people are saying that, and I've been critical of the left as far as their suppression of free speech and their hypocrisy, because on the one hand they want to say everything is hate speech, you know, but on the other hand, when Talcum X, what's his face? Who's Talcum X? I forgot his name. Sean King is, you know, that Antifa guy who stormed the ICE facility with his, you know. Sean King was encouraging it, saying it needs to happen more, and Reza Aslan, we've already talked about him. So when the actual limits to free speech are violated on the left side, there's nothing. Twitter doesn't do anything. Talcum X still has his Twitter account, and so does Reza Aslan.
Not right.
No problem. But,
that's unbelievable.
But then Alex Jones is the guy that we need to worry about. So is Varg. There's Varg in his little village. And Varg needs to be shut down. He needs to be silenced. Yeah. All Varg is saying is that Europe is for Europeans and Africa is for Africans. Now it's racist as fuck, but that's dangerous?
Right.
That's hateful? How is that hateful? Like, that's like Varg is not going to mess with me. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's not going to do anything to me. But you got Reza Aslan and all the rest of these people. Like, it's madness to me. So, like, the whole thing about, you know, when Jordan Peterson, one of the first interview I saw Jordan Peterson, obviously it was in a hostile environment, but he was saying that free speech is important because the only way that we can see whether or not our ideas are good is if we articulate them and then other people shut it down. Then we can say, well, shit. And if you're going to be an idiot and still hold to a bad worldview, it doesn't matter because the other people watching the debate are going to go, whoa, man, that guy's out to fucking lunch. And so that's the purpose of free speech. It's that when you have a bad idea and you put it out in public and then it gets refuted, then you get marginalized, your idea gets marginalized, and then we progress forward. So that's why you need free speech. And I never really thought about it that way. So when you've got elements in our country now that want to silence free speech, when it says I'm done with pacifism, you can't debate with demons. Like they're trying to stop, there are elements on the left, you have to admit this, that are trying proactively to silence all speech that is contrary to their worldview. And to me, it's like, are you trying to say, it's like that reporter, what was his name? His last name was NGO, where the Antifa cowards beat the hell out of the guy, gave him a brain hemorrhage.
Yes.
Because he
meant to put him in the video, actually.
Yeah, you should have. He dared, because he dared to say something different, then you got people saying, well, he wasn't a nice guy. What does that have to do with anything?
I have no idea.
Since when did being a nice guy buy you the right not to get physically assaulted and almost killed out in the street?
Absolutely
it's
madness.
So that's why free speech is important, because you got to let people say their points, and if the points are that dumb, then you got to have some faith in the American people that we're going to be able to go, well, that's bullshit. You know, it's sort of this like paternalistic, sort of almost condescending thing, like, oh, you're not strong enough to hear this speech, so we're gonna have to silence it. Like, you black people, you can't deal with a white person saying that you shouldn't marry a white person, so we're gonna silence it so that you're not triggered. Like, come on, man. Like, we've been dealing with this shit all our life. Like, are you serious? You're going to rescue me from a Twitter race?
Either. Like, when I was a kid, I don't remember having these kinds of issues. People said what they had to say. you didn't agree with somebody or you thought they were wrong, that person's a freaking idiot. They don't know what the hell they're talking about. And you didn't really you didn't give it a second thought. You didn't go and get offended by every little thing that was said that you didn't agree with, or, go and write about it wherever. It's just like, I don't know when that whole thing started, if it's just social media or what, but.
Let me ask you a question though, Leah. When you look at a guy like Bernie Sanders, right? Or Tulsi, or Elizabeth Warren, do you look at those people and go, that man or woman is purposely trying to destroy my country?
No, I wouldn't say they're purposely trying to destroy the country.
So you'd say that Bernie...
I don't think their intentions are as pure as they would have you believe.
Well, that's probably true of every politician, right? Like Bernie kind of gets put up as this messianic figure, and then it came out 2 weeks ago that he's not even paying his folks $15 an hour. Forcing them to work.
Because he's as old as Jesus doesn't mean he's Jesus.
She had that stored up for she did.
I'm just saying, man.
My point in asking that question, because I'm a Bernie fan and you also know I'm a Jesus fan. Fuck you for that. But the point of asking that question though is to say, when we're debating these people or we're thinking about people from both sides, even if you disagree with Bernie, you could say, okay, this is a guy who has a mindset about what would be best for America, and he truly believes it's best for America. Mm-hmm. Let's debate the merits of it and figure it out there. Same thing with Trump. Like if you're there are no real hardcore leftists in this particular form, but BM fan, do you honestly believe that Trump is going there, let's destroy America, let's ruin America? Like, do you really believe? I don't believe that the majority of these politicians want to destroy America.
Right, yeah.
I think a lot of these politicians sincerely believe, Biden, I have no clue what he's thinking. Mm-hmm. Biden,
I don't even think he knows what he's thinking.
3-3-0. Democratic Party is in fucking shambles.
It's terrible.
But... okay, and Kamala...
Our kids are just as good as white kids, by the way.
Huh?
I said poor kids are just as good as white kids.
And black kids and
rich kids. He was doing the Mueller thing.
Oh, man.
That's going to come up in a debate.
Absolutely.
That's why when I keep saying Biden's leading in the polls, I'm like, this guy, if he does end up the nominee, it's over.
Yeah.
It's over.
Well, the thing is that I keep telling leftists this, Trump is an extremely brilliant man. Extremely. I haven't met a more intrepid, brilliant chess player politically in my entire life. So I believe that Trump would absolutely destroy Biden in a debate. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
I think he would struggle with Bernie, though. He would really struggle with Bernie. I think he'd have a very hard time with Bernie. But I think he would annihilate. I think he'd destroy Kamala in a debate. He would just keep bringing up that record, and he wouldn't be as political about it as Tulsi. He would destroy her. But I think he would struggle with Bernie. But my point is, none of these guys or ladies are trying to destroy our country. They have different understandings of what is best for our country. And if we could sit together at the table and say, let's start and figure out on what we agree on and then work from there. Right? Like abortion. Like if I were to say, okay, life of the mother, I get it. Right? Like life of the mother, I get it because that's a pro-life issue. But if you're talking about jigging a 9-month-old baby, we can't do that. You had the partial birth abortion thing, which is going on in New York right now. I had to look away because, I know that this shit is happening.
Exactly why I put it in there, though, because, it's... Until you actually see something like that, right. It's just words.
No, you're right. You're right.
And my original idea was to show an actual procedure, and I didn't even want to do that. So I'm like, I found this, and it worked out perfect. And I'm like, I just want to be able to show what these people are advocating for. Yeah. Because sometimes it's, but it's just words, and you hear it over and over, and sometimes, you forget what you're actually going for.
Yeah. And So like, if to be able to just like sit down at the table and really have discussions and find ways that we can compromise with each other and figure stuff out in a way that's going to move the country forward for the next 20 to 50 years. But, this idea that the leftists have adopted, and I'm sorry, but they have articulated it. They don't want to debate. They don't want to come to a compromise. They're talking about kicking people and eliminating them and eradicating them, and Twitter, which is supposedly objective and whatever and doesn't have a bias, lets people like Reza Aslan and all these people go on unpunished, and the executives at Twitter and Reza Aslan and all these people are not going to deal with the shit that me and you have to deal with when we go to the movies and when we go to Walmart. And so that line is very fitting in the song. Your leaders are now your enemies. Because it's true. Because now they're using this collective hostility in order to boost themselves.
Yep.
Like Beto talking about Trump, don't come to Texas. All those people got shot up, and Beto's telling Trump not to come to Texas. Bullshit, Beto. You should have said, come to Texas. Let me show you these people. Let me walk you around the neighborhood. Let's find some way to come together. This is one of the things that really gets me. I don't know if you guys remember during 9/11, no matter what you thought about Bush, no matter what you thought about anything, it was like, we're all Americans.
Everybody got together.
We're all Americans here. And it lasted for about 14 hours and 28 seconds. But it was a good 14:28. And now, when we get to a national... Huh?
It lasted a few months.
Well, yeah, and, at the time, I'm pretty sure Hillary was governor of New York, because she had just beaten Rick Lazio. And so, I was tracing the whole thing in high school. That's how I know these specific names. But Hillary was... Can you imagine Hillary saying, don't come to New York, Bush? Like, come on. Like, they don't know how to turn it off.
Yeah.
Like, stop being a fucking politician. Be an American. Bunch of Americans just got mowed down. We want the president to come and visit us. You should welcome that.
Yeah.
And then say, Mr. President, I believe that a couple of your policies, blah, 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 blah. But the idea that Trump is solely responsible for mass shootings is ridiculous. Like, the guy was a reality TV star till 3 years ago. How the fuck did he... Now, I've blamed Trump for his rhetoric, and I get it. But that is not the place of a person, of a politician in that specific moment to use that as political grandstanding. And I thought it was disgusting, and I was like, I'm usually an optimistic guy about the future, but I'm like, shit, man. If Beto, who's supposed to be this big progressive whatever, comes out and says, don't come to our state, man, that's pretty ugly. How is that possibly good for the rest of our country to say that?
It's not.
It's insane. All right. Well, I haven't convinced either one of you of the evils of Trump. I can see that.
I never said the man was perfect, but...
Yes, I'm going to get ready. I'll go get my Sanders 2020 shirt for you.
What do you give the song 1 to 10?
Musically, I thought it was... I'd give it like an 8 out of 10. Lyrically, I thought it could have been a little bit better. I thought they were decent, but overall, I think I'd give it an 8.2.
What about you?
8.7 for me. I liked it sonically what it was. It got heavy at parts. Lyrically, I thought it was a good topic. So yeah, 8.7 for me. What about you?
It's a 9.3 for me because I thought it was very relevant. And these guys are not from America. They're Australian.
Right.
And so what I like about it is they're outsiders looking into our current situation. And and I think, especially when I read that quote from Andy, that he's got a very balanced perspective on it. And he talks about the regressive left. Now, in the interview, we talk. I don't know, because we did it. He was actually the second interview. We did Zen first and then him, right?
Was it? I thought Lindsay was second, but I guess maybe not. No, it wasn't. Yeah, you're right. I think you're right.
No, I think Andy was actually our first one.
No, Zen was our first.
Okay.
I know definitively Zen was our first.
When we were talking to Andy, he talked about the regressive left, and he himself is a leftist. He identifies as one, but it's really cool to be able to see somebody looking from the outside in and saying, okay.
Yeah.
This is what's going on, and so I appreciate it. That's why it's getting a 9.3 for me, because I'm not giving it a 10 because I'm trying to be optimistic. If a song is a 10, that means it's going to be relevant for all time, and
Right.
I want to hope that this song is not going to be relevant 10 years from now. Here's to hoping. You don't look very optimistic, Leah.
We'll see. We'll see. I think Kellyanne should still be in office in 10 years.
Oh my gosh, here we go. Kellyanne Conway is not going to be the president, ever.
Okay. Ivanka.
You just want a Trump empire in America now.
I'm fine with that.
We're done with this review. Vin out.
The presidential term limit.
Vin out.
Sori out.
Leah out.
Gone.